Sumolings, thank you so much for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at BotStar. BotStar is a comprehensive chatbot that makes it easy to build, develop, and refine an automated system to tackle queries and generate leads. It is back on AppSumo, starting at $59 for a lifetime deal, and it does have a 5 taco rating with 110 reviews. This is a beloved tool on AppSumo, and we are so excited to be walking through it today. Before we dive into the walkthrough though, I just want to tell y'all a few quick things. The first is if you want to tell us a little bit about your use case, why you're interested in this tool, go ahead and do that over in the chat room. We do love to hear from you there. If you have any questions about the tool, the deal, how to get set up, leave your questions in the Q&A box down below this video. We will circle back to them at the end of the walkthrough. And the last thing is that there will be a replay of this available. So if you need to step out, you totally can. You can watch this again later. All right, that is enough of me. Hey, Hui, how are you doing today?
Hi guys, I'm good. I'm doing well. It's a bit late over here, but yeah, I'm honored to be here again and talking about BotStar to you guys.
We are excited to have you back. We're very glad you're back, and we're excited to offer this to our Sumolings. I know that I have been seeing since your last deal just comments about when is BotStar coming back. So this has been highly anticipated, and people are excited to have you. So without further ado, I'll let you go ahead and do the walkthrough. Let me know when you're ready to take some questions.
Yeah, sure. Give me a sec. I'll start sharing my screen.
Totally.
Can you see my screen now?
Looks good.
Okay. Yeah, so I couldn't go into much super detail like many mini house tools. I wouldn't do that in this session. Rather, I feel like I really appreciate everyone who's turning up for this webinar because I feel like for myself, I would never participate in one of these. But for you guys, probably you are very excited, or you are still, are waiting for some answer or for some more insights before making your purchase decision. I understand that. So I would walk you guys a bit through the app, but I would spend a little bit more time talking about or sharing with you guys about some of the key decisions for BotStar in the near future and in our vision for the longer future as well. So I'll do that. So first of all, I'll explain to you guys. Most of you have been asking us this question. So what is a session in BotStar? So a session is like a conversation, and from the get started moment until just from that moment. So one member, one chat user probably will incur one session. Until BotStar introduce multi-session, like one chat user can have multiple threads with the bot. Then until then, you would be worried about one user can incur multiple sessions. But for now, don't worry, just one user, one session. That should be it. This is the screen where you see a bunch of bots on the screen. I'll go ahead and open up a bot called Pizza Delivery Chatbot. So as you can see, this is the dashboard where it shows a bunch of information for the quick overview. I'll go ahead into dive directly into the editor right now. So you can see this is the overview of the conversation in our conversation editor, flow editor. I'll go ahead and do a quick hide this stuff. I'll go ahead and try to preview this bot. So this is a cool thing of BotStar. Oh my God, this thing. I'll hide it up here. I'll go ahead and hide it. So you can basically, this is exactly what you see is what you get. High gas at this point, you don't have the name of the chat user yet. So it come up with that generic variable value. And then exactly what you see in the flow on my left-hand side is displayed over here on the right-hand side in the preview section. So you can go ahead and play around with your bot while building it. You don't have to hook it to a website or hook it up to a Facebook page in order to test out your bot. So that in this chatbot, basically you can see a bunch of capabilities that BotStar can do. It can display a bunch of products right here where I'm looking at. It can give you like an end-to-end purchasing sort of experience for users to play around, to order pizza and stuff. So this is the website. And pay attention to the bottom right-hand side. You can see the bot pop up, and I can communicate with this bot on this website right away. And you see it exactly like how you see in the flow as well in the preview, and here it is on the website. And I'll go ahead and play around with this flow a little bit so we can have something in the back end. I'll go ahead and order this once more. Do you want to customize your pizza? Probably no at this point. How many pizza? Probably just one. So as I'm doing this, the bot is collecting information and push it to the backend. I'll go ahead and complete this order, and asking me for mobile number. So random phone number there. Yeah, sure. So we just gone through the order, the order process, and let's see what it does in the backend. This is checkpoint. This is a term used internally in the BotStar platform. You see this term anywhere else. So this is just like a generic umbrella term where things that are getting accumulated, like order, booking, that sort of stuff. It can go under checkpoint. So you can see that our order just now should be displayed here in this, which probably, I don't know which one was that, depending on the time. Should be this one. So any kind of information your end user give to the bot, it should be displayed here, or it can go into the audience themselves. So for example, this particular person, you can see a bunch of information. I'll quickly hide so there's no sensitive information get out. Basically that you can assign information from the chat user toward something generic like checkpoint, where you can sync up with your CRM or CMS database, or even Google spreadsheet in order to collect and process those information further on. Or you can just send those information directly to, and assign them to the user. So later on, you can visit and look at, the history and see what exactly has been going on with this customer. For example, someone may decide to send out a campaign on summer, and you tag all of these people with the summer, tag, for example. And then later on, you can go ahead and retarget these people with the tag summer. You can do some stuff here, filtering here. I wouldn't go ahead and do that. And basically, that's how you retarget the user in BotStar. So this is the editor. There's one thing that the learning step. There is probably a learning curve there for you guys, especially people who starting to do chatbot for the first time in their life. But once you get the hang of it, you will understand, how powerful this tool set we are providing you guys with here. There is a very important term in BotStar, which is called module. And I'm looking at this module, for example. Module is think of module is like a group of blocks that being grouped together, so you can go into the module and do some stuff there and get out of it. So you won't have to cluster up your design, your flow design. And that is, I believe is, well, I'm not sure if other platforms have come up with that, anything similar yet, but we are very proud of that. And that enables, some sort of complexity later on when you want to extend your bot to. There's one point about this. There may be an alternative to do to replace a submodule, which is called subflow. So imagine we have one flow for the bot right now, but in the near future, BotStar will come up with multiple flows. So that's going to be very helpful for marketing company or agency who want to rerun some of the campaign and using just some particular flow for each campaign. Or it's going to be very good for sometime you want to separate the flow of customer support or sale and engagement, and you don't want, and those flow or those bots are being handled separately by different people, different departments in the company, and that's also a good situation as well. So I want to showcase you guys another bot. Let me open it. This is called weather bot. So in this, what this bot does, let's see what it does. Yeah, it will ask me for. Okay, I'm pretty good, thank you. I'm going through the flow of this weather bot. It should be asking me and give me for. So I'll go ahead, probably put in New York here. I suggest. And it should come back with some information about the weather of New York. So this demonstrates the capability which is called scripting. So it's right here. So after some chit chat, as you can see in the flow here, go from here to here to here, and there, and right here, it will ask for my location and then send me to this this particular code here, which is, I don't want to scare you away, but look, I just want to show you how powerful BotStar is. So even you can start your bot very simple in the beginning, but down the track, if you have access to more, technical savvy people or resources, you can always extend your bot and, hook it up with some other system, either through something like this scripting, where you can do some calculation behind, or you can, use some of these sort of condition and, come up with your own logic right within the bot. You can see a lot of information here for you to dictate the flow of the bot based on the logic. And there are just many other things for you to check, see for yourself in the editor. There's another good thing I want to talk about is recently, since our last launch in the middle of last year, we have finished two very important integrations. One is called Woodsheet and the other is called Stripe. So you can see, you can just drag them in here. Oh, I'm sorry, it's asking me to set up my Stripe integration first. Okay, I'll see if another bot has it. I should be going to setting of the bot. Integration. So you can integrate BotStar with this thing natively. So we do support them natively as long as you have Stripe or Woodsheet account. But we also open up to Zapier and Integromat as well. So you can, if you don't have, if you can't find these native integration, then you can always use these integration hubs to extend or connect your bot to other external system. Also, one thing is should be noted that we are releasing our first full set of API very soon, in weeks. I would say We would be releasing it in 2 weeks. It's almost done internally, but we are just testing it out. And also we've been testing it, but I think it take us another 2 weeks for us to release our full set of API that a lot of people have been asking for. And I believe that going to unlock most of the integration capability used between BotStar and other platforms, even if our team doesn't have resource to do any particular native integration for any software that being favored by you. So I just finished the point about the integration. So basically, in short, BotStar can be very open and can connect to other platforms through a bunch of tool sets like HTTP, block in the editor, scripting, integration hubs like Zapier, Integromat, and some of the integration we decide to support natively in the flow. As long as you have technical access, you can create any kind of bot with BotStar. So this bot, I was trying to show you guys the scripting. About this bot, this is the BotStar chatbot official. So I'm showing you guys the chatbot that we have created for BotStar ourselves. And I'll show you the flow. The flow is kind of, standard, where you can see how, our team group a bunch of information to pricing plan, support and training. Let's go into pricing and see what in here. So you can see this is the module entry, and basically this help, this help preventing the botman flow being clustered by so much information about pricing. And you can have multiple access for this, module. And then later on, you can see the module outlet out here, and you can just like go back or continue the, the navigation. It's up to your logic. So this is the official chatbot, and basically this is the keyword. So in BotStar, there used to be, we used to focus a lot on, smart keyword, where we integrate with AI, which is owned by Facebook. But down the track, we found out that with AI is very limited and buggy, and Facebook, to be honest, some of their software raised the question of standard of quality as well. So we decided to stop that for the keyword in BotStar. So keyword in BotStar now, we only support regular manipulation of strings. Like matching, containing, finding if there's such a letter or so. And by matching this rule, you can decide to send back, either a particular block, or you can just send back a simple text message. So I've walked you guys through a little bit about the bot building capability of BotStar. In the past, this is how this platform, has been our minds fully occupied and dictated by the bot building activity and communities. But looking forward into 2021, we want this inbox is going, this Omni inbox, we want to improve it so that it can be used as a tool for team, like especially customer support team, or in some company where the sales people or the marketing people are collaborating closely with the support people, especially given the booming of social media. So we want this to be a unilateral omni-channel chatbot inbox where you can manipulate. For now, it is only support BotStar live chat and Facebook Messenger, but in the future, once we expand the other the other message channel like WhatsApp, Line, Instagram, this will, exude more the sense of, omni-channel. For now, it only supports 2 channels. But basically, there's one key feature in this inbox that I want you to know, and I'm actually very proud of, which is human takeover. Anytime you start talking with this particular customer, for example, the bot will stop working, and you as an agent, a human agent, will take over this message. But there is, if you go back to the bot builder, because I said I'm very proud of the human takeover mechanism in BotStar, right? I need to show you guys that. So at any point, you can use this to let the bot handle, oh, so you want to talk to our human agent, give me a minute, something, or, leave us some question, and then I'll forward that to our human, staff, for example. So whatever you want to, however you want to handle the switch over, the transition between a bot and a staff, it's up to you, up to your creativity in the flow. Yeah. So another important point is BotStar does support multiple language. For example, this bot, it is configured for only English, for example. But if I decide to support this bot for another language, let me go to another bot. I don't want to play around with the official chatbot. Look at this one, for example. It supports Spanish down here. So if I click that and switch to Spanish, okay, probably they haven't done the translation for this one yet. But if I go ahead and type in something, let me do it in capital. So if I switch between English and Spanish, yeah, you see the text changed? Yeah, so that's how easy it is for you to create a multiple language chatbot. And BotStar, you can even use this built-in language switch block to let the user choose between the language. So that's a built-in block to handle that. If you go into CMS, for example, this is where you predefine data so that they can be preloaded and populated into the chatbot content. You can even switch the language in here. So that just show you how extended our languages capability, multilingual, sorry, how extensive our support for that particular feature is. I'll go ahead and demonstrate some of the other features as well. This is the report screen where you can see how the bot's performing. I'm going to be honest with you guys here. This is not the best department of BotStar, clearly, and we want to rectify that in this year, and we want to give more boost into the analytical, capability of BotStar. Yeah. Wow, all of this UI right here, what you are seeing, we are in a very excited time because we have made up our minds to split this product into two sub-products where you can switch between. It's very good for agency as well, or even for business, because it's going to show a much more friendly day-to-day dashboard inbox for you guys to maintain, the conversation or the engagement. It separates that view with the view of automation, where you need to do a bunch of configuration, fitting around, configuring the chatbot, designing the chatbot, setting up some rules and flows, which basically after you have done, you probably wouldn't come back to visit. So I want to share that information with you guys, and internally here we call that app splitting. Nothing to be scared about whether this is going to affect your deal or not. Trust me, it has nothing to do with that. It's just all about providing a better user interface for our community in the future, and it's clearer, less stuff on the screen per section, so it's clearer for you guys. Yeah, I'm super excited because that has been scheduled to be released in the early half of this year. And all of that are just the, the top layer changes. So it wouldn't mess up with any things regarding the quality, the engine, or anything like that. So you wouldn't have to be worried about that. But I'm excited to share with you guys that information. Yeah, so this is how our pizza chatbot look in Messenger, and which I have demonstrated on the web chat before. And as you can see, all of that information should go through here, through two channels. One, which is me just now, and the other is me 20 minutes before that, when I've ordered that Bolognese small pizza. Yeah. A lot of people in the past have a problem publishing the bot for some reason. We try our best to improve UI or UX around this, but given the upcoming changes for the global UI, for the app splitting thing I mentioned just now, all of these things will be addressed to give everyone a much better experience when publishing the bot. But we want that anything you do in the flow, a lot of people forget to republish the bot. So all of these change here, if I drag this one here, for example, that incur as a change, but that change is only local. So you want to bring that change forward to Facebook or out on your website, you need to re-hit this publish button. So in the future, maybe we'll try to think of a way for a better mechanism of these publishing things. But I've noticed a lot of people have issue with that, and they think that, oh, but the bot stopped functioning, or the bot doesn't bring out the latest change I walked through last night. So a lot of that got to do with this little button up here. So pay attention to that, please. I think that's it for me. One thing I want to bring forward is our documentation. And this is something that I believe that will save you a lot of time. I recommend you to go ahead and finish up this BotStar tutorial lesson. If it's not good, if it's not perfect, come back, give us feedback. We are very happy to take feedback and go back and improve our course. But this course will give you a basic understanding of how to build a bot, from designing, planning on the paper, sketch out, planning for CMS, for dynamic data, how to hook it up into your existing business. Go ahead and finish this course. It will give you a lot of foundation for getting into chatbot, which is the process. Also, I've just forgot talking about our BotStar templates. This year, we're going to spend a lot of time to improve our templates as well. So how do you access the template in the app? Go ahead, create a bot, and then you can select this template, but you can always create one from scratch. So, it's really up to you. But in this year, we are going to spend more time on, making this template more industrial, more, closer to the reality. Some of these funky things like the background here in the message, those will be bring forward to the BotStar live chat as well as updated. So just a lot more, emphasis on the live chat department of BotStar. A lot more. We're going to focus more on enabling conversation for business, not just chatbot. Those two complement each other, chatbot and live chat. I think that's it for me. Feel free to come up with questions. I'm happy to answer them all.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions here in the Q&A box. I'm just going to run through them in the order that they came in.
Yeah.
Sumaling, I know that you guys are sending questions in the chat. Please send them over to the Q&A box so that I actually see them. All right, so Daryl asks, what is the difference between white label and your own branding on BotMe? Does white label only refer to the dashboard for our BTOB clients?
Yeah, cool. So a lot of people mistook BotStar white labeling as a reseller features. What we want to emphasize on is, okay, let me be honest, right? This deal is very, very good for people who want to set up a business or move their agency into the chatbot domain. So instead of you showing BotStar or ManyChat brand to your audience, you can go ahead and say, look, this is a bot platform. You can even be honest with your customer and say, we didn't build this, but we are powerful enough to get our own label on this thing. No one will believe you guys if you say you build that platform by yourself. One way or another, someone will find it out. It's not healthy to think of that. I found, look, I just want to be frankly honest here, but it may be different from people to people, business to business. But I think this deal is very healthy and very good for people who want to invite the customer into the BotStar platform under their own brand. We try to hide those things. We try to make those things as generic as possible, and invite them to collaborate on the flow, or even just let them handle the inbox, or just let them push out the broadcast message to customer monthly on a monthly basis, for example, or just let them look at the analytical report. But that will come with a lot of things like if you deploy on Facebook Messenger, for example, then we can't just create a custom app for all of you, right? So that not sustainable enough for BotStar. So we have to use a generic app, for example. So our methodology is we use generic naming for domain for apps where it take us a lot of effort to do. Everywhere else, we use your brand as much as possible. I'm not sure if I have answered that question yet. Feel free to hit me up. Yeah,
that's fine. You did great. Thank you.
I feel like going to the top of questions. Sorry.
The next question is, at which code level do we get AI for user interactions?
It should be unlocked at the first code. So BotStar is not about feature locking. The only difference in feature locking between codes, I believe, would be just all the white label stuff. We don't call that white label. We call that custom branded app for a reason. But I don't think you can just buy one code and you can just enjoy BotStar. You don't have to grab a lot of code.
All right. Is it possible that live chat is enabled during work hours and the rest of the time the bot remains by default?
You can configure that in BotStar. You can set the bot to be first responder, or you can set the human to, it can function exactly like a normal live chat. But a lot of changes and improvement on the live chat to be brought forward early part of this year, which I mean, we are working on them right now. So I'm reluctant to talk about some of the foreseeable limits in BotStar live chat right now, because those things can be like wiped away in the early part of this year. A lot of excited changes going to be introduced, I promise.
Yay. All right, so we got a lot of questions about integrations. Yeah. I'm gonna summarize the questions that we got. We have questions about WooCommerce. We have questions about HubSpot. A question that came up a couple of times is about the dialogue flow integration. And one person specifically asked, what is a use case of that, or what are the possibilities with such an integration? So can you speak to integrations in general? What do you got? What maybe are people looking forward to? And then more specifically about Dialogflow.
Okay. Look, in the past, everybody trying to understand how chatbot work, and everyone trying to look for the best tool sets for developing and building chatbot, either for their own business or for their agency. It takes time. It takes time for the whole scene or the industry to be mature to a point when we now have like a proper stack of tool set used by people to create. Well, for example, 2 years ago, we didn't take Google Sheet for chatbot development very seriously until we found out that, okay, a lot of people are using Google Sheets like a sort of mini database where it's friendly enough for business people to use, and it can function as a database to be used for chatbot, those kind of stuff. So whatever integration you guys are seeing us introduce natively this year, by natively, I mean it might appear as a block in the editor where you can drag them in and do a bit of configuration. So those will be very popular and being used a lot by people. So for example, Stripe or PayPal or some of the very popular tool set. A lot of people ask me either on, through support or on the deal page about, do you guys support this integration, that integration? There are so many apps out there, and integration take a lot of effort. So our focus this year, the first part is to make sure the platform functions well and it has certain level, come up to a certain level to support the foundation must be solidified before we introduce more integration, more channel at the later part of the year. But I want to highlight that by releasing our full set of API in about 2 weeks, don't take my words for that, 2 weeks is probably the earliest time for that release, that will bring a lot of integration possibility for BotStar. And also we are open to the, I'm all, ear and eyes for you guys. So for example, in the community, someone asked, hey, do you guys integrate with Walletly, for example, and the CEO of Walletly contact me directly, for example. I'm very happy to talk to them, and I discover, okay, loyalty program for chatbot is really good. So let's talk about it. And that's how things start, guys. So we are very open, but we just have to balance between, priority between the other feature, in the app, and also integration need to be balanced. But we try to be quite transparent and democracy to a certain on that point.
Awesome, thank you. All right, some more questions. Does BotStar reduce page loading speed?
By page loading speed, I think someone have asked this question on the AppSumo page deal, and I have given him answer. So if my answer here is not good enough, you probably can look at that, because that does come up with some of the figure and numbers as well. But our team found out that the chatbot widgets only load after the page finished, and actually it didn't affect the Google index score. Sorry, not Google index, but more like the page performance loading score. So we tested with that and another tool, forgot the name. You can find that in my answer on AppSumo page. And basically everything happened after the whole page is rendered. So it won't block the rendering of the page, and it won't bring down the score of the page that much if it does. Because the execution to render the widgets, the live chat panel itself, they are super fast.
Awesome. All right. We're going to talk about where this bot can be used. Can I use this bot only on my website or also to chat with clients via SMS, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, etc.? Can I?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So when you look at the BotStar, you can clearly see there's two channels. One is called Facebook Messenger. The other is this stuff, this BotStar live chat stuff. In the future, we want to integrate with SMS, WhatsApp. A lot of people have been asking for those two channels. Also, RCS, which is a superstar in the future, is coming up, being promoted in the industry as well. However, even though we haven't really supported the messenger platform right now, a lot of people have used BotStar scripting block or HTTP block to consume some of the messages API, like Twilio, to be able to create a bot for a platform that BotStar doesn't support. That just shows how extendable this platform can be. So someone have built a WhatsApp chatbot using BotStar, even though we haven't supported that yet. So that's a good thing to hear about the community. They're very creative. But yeah, we hope to bring more channel in the future. For now, it's all up to your imagination, eh?
Great, thank you. Can the language switch be automated depending on the language of the user engaging with the bot for the first time?
Yeah, good question. It does. It does. Whatever the locale, even if your user on a browser like this doesn't have to be on Facebook, we would detect the locale setting of that user and bring the language that that particular user will have been using on their browser. Similar to how YouTube and Facebook does that sort of feature. A lot of people often ask or complain recently that some of the language, some of the copies in the live chat itself, for example, these sort of things, type of message or power by or a minute ago, for example, those things are all in English right now, unfortunately, and we are pushing a quick fix for that. So those texts here, they should be displayed in the local language to that user. That being pushed out.
All right. We have a bunch of questions, of course, about the roadmap and when are things coming. I'm interested in what are you most excited about that Sumo Links can be excited about that's coming up? And then, of course, Sumo Links would love to know if it's going to be included in their deal.
Look, I see this being asked quite a few times. You guys are going probably being played by some of the deal in the past, maybe, I don't know, but we want to be super straightforward with you guys. Most of the features will be available for across the plans, okay? Treat AppSumo as a particular plan. So you won't see a lot of feature locking. The only kind of feature locked that we probably use in the future, maybe, that is something to do with another system that doesn't have the same business model as ours. For example, if you want to use a WhatsApp channel, for example, you probably have to pay some extra money for that to maintain that channel because that's how WhatsApp do the business. So that sort of things. Feature-based, we wouldn't limit that because our business model focus on the more messages you have, the better business we are doing. So we won't do a lot of feature locking. So don't worry about that, guys.
Thank you. Is there a way to align the mood or tone of BotStar responses with other bots so that the answers and responses sound integrated?
I didn't get that question fully, sorry.
Is there a way to align the mood or tone of BotStar responses with other bots so that the answers and responses sound integrated?
Wow, this sounds like a super advanced question. So you're talking about a bot talking to maybe collaborating with some other bot, as in a series or a pipeline of probably custom handling by a bunch of bots. It had been set up by some sophisticated company, but for us, that use case does sound super interesting, to be honest, but a bit fast stretch at the moment for us to look at right now. However, with the introduction of Dialogflow direct integration in the bot, let me go back to the official chatbot. This is where the chatbot. So this is BotStar pricing. So we do have training, and this not this training, sorry guys, but more inside the flow. So we do train our bot in Dialogflow, and we do use Dialogflow in this bot, I think, maybe not, maybe another version, sorry. But yeah, in Dialogflow, which is this particular block right here, where's Dialogflow? That's it. Right here. Basically, you can, I don't want to talk so much about it because it requires some extensive knowledge about NLP, but that will enable you to manage, you can use Dialogflow to train your bot to use a certain tone of answering, respond, or you can dictate how the agent on Dialogflow to analyze, to understand your user as well. All of that NLU and your NLP stuff will add that sort of feminism or the masculinism into the bot. Think of BotStar like a skeleton, right? Like a flow skeleton, but you can add all those fancy touch points using the other system. We focus on what we do best, visualization of conversation.
Wonderful, thank you. If as a web developer, I offer a website with chatbot using your platform, how would the workflow for my client be? Like client login page, independency for edit, assign agents, etc.
Yeah, basically, you would invite him into the system, and for example, I'll go ahead and try to do one here. In your team, you can invite them into your team, and within that, after that, you go to the bot. For example, you have just created this particular bot, and you want to invite them into this bot. Collaborators, and you can add them into this, and you can let them see what sort of feature you allow them to use according to your contract with them, yeah. And the flow is really up to you, yeah. Whatever menu they see is whatever kind of flow they want to use. But for most of the time, they should end up in here, yeah. They should end up in here to manage the messages, or they can receive an email saying someone have requested, this conversation to be taken over by you, so go ahead and take over it. That's one workflow. They can, for some marketing oriented or salespeople, they may go into create some sort of broadcast message, so they can push out message to all of the user at the same time, for example. But most of the time, they will look at how the bot performed, look at a particular history of of the conversation, look into that particular user, and like I said, right, we want to focus more on this department in next year. So stuff that enable closer collaboration, like internal note, more just more visual stuff, like popping up saying Adam has taken over this message, or you and I chatting with we, for example. Those sort of visual guidelines will be added soon. So yeah, that's how I imagine the workflow of your client would be.
Great, thank you. Is there a way to retrieve records for a returning client? For example, hey John, nice to see you back.
Yes, you can do that. Yep. So let me show you the documentation of BotStar and show you where to look at to do that sort of thing. So I think that use case can be very handy for a website with rich control, like an app, for example, welcome back the user, or a e-commerce website where they can track, how much stuff this user have purchased so far, for example. All of that, you can go into the widgets API and see for yourself how you can invoke or add some extra information for this particular user before initiate the chat. So maybe you know that if this user, for example, you see that this user has already been to this website before because he has been set up with an attribute called visited counted 1, 2, for example. And so you do a logic inside the flow of the bot and say, welcome back. Sorry if I don't go into very detail. I just want you to understand that,
I guess that.
Spend a bit of time on that and ask around. The community will help.
Can one bot work on Facebook and on a website at the same time?
Yeah, totally the same. Our vision is you can have the same bot work on, as many as 10 channels, for example, and you can all use that omni-channel inbox. Stick with us, there will be more channel in the future. And that omni-channel effect will be clear.
What do you guys offer any like coaching or one-on-one or hiring somebody to do all of this for the people that find this maybe a bit complicated?
Sorry, clearly not this year that I can imagine of. We have a ton of features. The team is super burned. I don't think that we will provide such a service this year into 2002, maybe. Sorry, not 2022.
Remember 2002?
Yeah. We moved 2 decades.
All right, can we custom personalize the invitation email?
Invitation email. Okay. Sorry, that is one of those generic things that for now you can't really tailor them. Yes, we hope to provide more customization on those things in the future. But if you might feel very annoyed by my answer just now because I keep saying, please wait. But look at the big picture, yeah? Think about all of the convenience and the completeness of the app. That thing is, it doesn't affect as many, the other stuff. So think of the rule 20-80, where we have to focus on the 20%, percent of the feature being used by 80% of other people. But so this where that stuff fall into the other 80% of the rest of the feature. But I'll pay attention to that. Keep raising in the community, keep raising your concern. The more you raise, the more we pick up.
Thank you. All right, can you give an example, best practice example for profiling and an example of how to use which one was it? Sorry. The module, for using modules.
Oh, for using module, you think about module is like a grouping logic group, yeah. So it will save the editor from clustering, as I've said before. But you can do some funky stuff with module. For example, let me create a module here. For example, after this logo here, if you want this to go to this module, let's say this module is about fish, for example. So think of module is like a logic group of navigation as well. So anything to do with fish go in here. But in here you can see in the beginning you have just one module entry and one module outlet. This used to be called module exists, but now you can add multiple module exists. So for example, imagine between this, after this entry, there's some calculation there may be result in me chewing the big fish or another lady chewing the small fish. That can go, big fish can go here and small fish can go here. So this particular fish, it's not just preventing the clustering of the flow, main flow, but it also adds extra depth of calculation and encapsulation into your flow. So you look at the, you know to look at. So if someone talk about fish in my chatbot right now, I'll go ahead and just look at this fish module instead of having to look everywhere else. So I can even look at this outline and it's just got the fish and I can see, you know, all the logic behind it. And here, as you can see, I have two module outlet and they are here for me to dictate how the flow going to be next. If I'm the big fish guy, go to another flow. If I'm the small fish guy, go to another flow. So that is something nice about module that I like. I can't think of anything yet as of now, but yeah.
Thank you. All right, this is going to be our last question, Sumolings. So there will be a replay of this available shortly after we're done recording and it's done processing. The last question is, what differentiates your bot builder from your competitors?
Okay. So if you look at chatbot building, first there is coding and there is non-code framework. So if you think about that, then we definitely the non-coding platform. So, and that we put it in the same group as ManyChat, Chatfuel, Silverbot, or a bunch of other chatbot platform, Landbot, for example. This BotStar platform was founded in the early part of 2017. So some of you might still remember early of 2017, Mark Zuckerberg started talking about the future of chatbot. So the origin of the what you see is what you get in BotStar has its root from there. So back then, the only platform that has the same approach was Motion.ai, which has been acquired by HubSpot, which being used internally by HubSpot right now. So think about chatbot, non-coding chatbot framework or platform right now. There are two sort of approaches. The first one is represent the message and stack them together like Chatfuel. So you go into Chatfuel building platform and you can see that there's no flow, but you can do some configuration, stack a bunch of messages together, presents nicely on the phone. That's one approach. Some other approach would be similar to BotStar, but not what you see is what you get, but more like a bunch of nodes like this. Node is being linked through some sort of condition. So that is similar to BotStar, but it's less than BotStar. So the only platform that does well in a sense that represent what you see is what you get right now is ManyChat. But ManyChat's focus on marketing. That platform exudes this, you know, the marketing feature, A/B testing, that sort of stuff. BotStar, on the hand, it was founded under the core belief that we want to enable you know, visualization of conversation. So that does contain stuff like customer support, loyalty program, any other stuff than just marketing. So that set us apart from ManyChat. That's why you see us doing the native NLP dialogue flow integration to support better chatbot mannerism or tonerism instead of ManyChat having a third-party build for it. So that's set us apart from the other competitors. I'm very proud of the BotStar editor. To be honest with you guys, it used to be our core value. We strayed away from it in the past 2 years. what I want us to do this year is to go back and make this editor more wholesome and awesome. You guys wait and see this year. It's going to be great. That's all to my answers.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of that. We got some comments. That's awesome. We're really excited about BotStar and the future of it. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, Sumo-lings. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to your questions today, but of course you can always leave those on the deal page. We love to read them there. That is at appsumo.com/BotStar. You can redeem your code starting at $59 for a lifetime deal. Of course, this is backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee, so you can go ahead, get set up, play around with it, see how it works for you. Once you've done that, we do love to read your reviews. You can leave those on the deal page. And of course, that's where you'll leave your questions as well. Thank you so much, Hui, for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Have a good one.
Bye.